guest. I believe we have one very veteran offensive tackle who, is chilling and hanging out here with Packers fans worldwide. Is there a Mr. David Bakhtiari in the mix somewhere? Oh, there he is. What's up, Dave? How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
How's your night?
Tired.
I'm doing well, man.
Very tired.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. How's new dad life?
It's good. I'm going to see her tomorrow. I'm actually going to get out of town and go back to the hometown.
There you go. So I got there's this one. Look, and I know we did a whole joking kind of promo of this, like we got a maybe from Bakhtiari and blah blah blah, and now you're here, so everyone's very excited. So I do just have one very very important question I have to ask you. How do you think the Packers are going to do this year? They seem to be like a team in transition, but they are a good squad. I think they got some talent. How do you think they are going to do?
I think they are currently undefeated, so that's a big.
There you go. That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
No, I think I'm going to be interested to see. We're going to be injected with a lot of youth. It's crazy that I was just with Pat. Me and him were golfing today. I'm like, man, we're like the oldest guys. This is wild. Kind of didn't really think about it that I'd be at this point. It's just a blessing. And
right.
I mean, I think with no expectations, there's no limitations. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. Obviously, there is the definite writing on the wall of moving on from a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I can take up the rest of this Zoom meeting platform and talking about how much I appreciate Aaron and all the amazing things. He's been a phenomenal teammate, phenomenal quarterback. I mean, everything. So, it's definitely going to be a transition, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, Packer Nation had to move off of one Hall of Fame quarterback and was extremely lucky to go on to another Hall of Fame quarterback, a first ballot
yes,
at that. That doesn't happen many times in franchises. So I think, that is going to be new territory, I think, for the franchise. I think most 30-year-olds are going to have no idea what the landscape looks like. Not to date you, but I think other people that are a little older maybe have experienced what it's like to not have a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah. Some of us have run that route, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what that can happen. But
let me ask you this. With that change, it's interesting. We were talking to John Kuhn earlier tonight about the transition from an offense with Aaron's input, which was obviously considerable, to an offense that we on the outside, now obviously I'm not asking for shop secrets or anything like that, but there's obviously going to be a different emphasis, a different way of working, because you don't have the input of the 4-time MVP, a guy who's very involved game planning or design or whatever. Like, it's going to be maybe a little bit different. Do you, as an offensive tackle, as a guy who maybe there's more emphasis on power concepts rather than zone concepts or what have you, but is there much materially different for you in the offing, or is it very much like, okay, I got to block regardless and nothing really changes for you?
I wouldn't say too much changes. My job is to do my job. I think probably the play calling will probably change a little bit. I think it's going to be more on Matt, and there's not going to be obviously much pushback from a first true year starting quarterback.
First year
in Jordan. So he's going to kind of do what he says. Whereas I know, obviously, with Aaron, there was a lot of input and emphasis, and at times even he's going to do what he wants to do, and those were highlights, and at times they were lowlights. That comes with the territory. So I think that'll be different. I think we'll probably put more emphasis on the run game, and I think there's an emphasis on all three phases. I mean, in kind of saying this, I mean, there were teams legitimately, like Chicago, I think is a good example. They legitimately had scars and nightmares of Aaron. And even when they were in positions to win, they would find ways
Right.
to lose. And this is
To
me just being
lose,
honest,
yes.
seeing how the games would play out. And I think, now it's like the Baba Yaga's gone. So it's like we have to reestablish what our new identity is, because an intimidation factor, because I think that's big. And I think momentum is an unspoken thing that is so real, and attitude and character of a team is so real that you have to reestablish that. And I hope that the one thing that jumps off my mind is we have a young team that's hungry and people are already counting out. Great. Harness that and take it and use that. Use that as an FU mentality all year. I think that should be the first thing we do, or they do, whatever type of pronoun you want to use at this point, moving forward.
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this about Lucas Van Ness, your newest teammate, just been selected a few minutes ago. Do you make his life hell in training camp? Are you like, Rook, come on, let's dance? Like, or is it like, no, I'm not even gonna deign to like deal with this dude because he's a rookie and like he's not even at my pay grade yet.
I mean, the first thing comes off mind when I saw him was like Barbie doll Ken. I mean, I don't know. I think it kind of depends. I think if he needs to kind of get humbled, I'll kind of turn it on. But other than that, I mean, I ain't got really nothing to prove, especially to no rookie. Like, I just need to make sure I'm there week 1 through week 17, and that's the numero uno thing on my mind. But if we need to have a little tone setter or guys who kind of get in check, then I'll kind of turn it up a little bit more. All right, guys. It's funny because like when you're younger, I'm like, oh, smash my head all day. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna go at it. Now I'm like, I really got to kind of pick and choose when I want to do this. Like, I have to start thinking about like, man, I can't practice every day like I used to. Like, it's just crazy how it just kind of flipped on me like that. And I refused to accept it for so long. And now I have to just kind of start accepting like, hey, that's going to be my life. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the kind of same thing was with Rashawn a little bit when he came in, and, hopefully the young guy kind of understands, kind of take care of your vets. Don't need to smash mouth with me. We'll get some work in when we need to.
I'm glad you brought up the practice aspect, because obviously that was a big kind of quote narrative, which I know is a word you guys love in the building. But the idea that you guys really kind of found a way of working you in practice and making sure that you didn't overdo it and you didn't overwork it, and you were able to be available on Sundays. Now, obviously the appendectomy happened, and that's a very freak thing, and that's totally separate. But do you feel like you found a way of like, okay, this is my not limit, but this is how I can work and make sure that I'm available on Sundays, but I'm not putting undue stress on my knee and like everything that ensures that you're out there and available?
So to give people like context, first of all, like in my situation, I had 4 surgeries in 20 months, which is wild. The thought of being put under 4 times in 20 months is not something that you want to do. I'm just going to put out there. It's not good on your body, your health, and a lot of the systemic things outside of just what they're going in to do. Like, it kind of messes you up. So now I got that out of the way. I wanted to get that off my chest almost. When you get older, and especially with me and like my injury, I'm trying to figure out what it is to do. And I do know, like, I know veterans that don't even practice. It's just not their thing. I've always just been like, I saw Julius Peppers practice. I like love practicing. I just I love playing football, and I like every day sharpening it. And then my whole career in life up to the point before I got injured, it was every day I'm going to test it, and I'm going to, iron sharpens iron. And I had to realize that, like, you can't do that anymore, kid. You're an old man now. Old men do what old men do, which what I've seen, I was like, that will never be me. I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, I think a little bit was me being hard-headed, and I had to go through trial and error. But I mean, Mackenzie, as he told me, I'm on the Cliffy program, and we laugh about it because I don't want to be on the Cliffy program because I've heard funny stories about it, but that's just kind of what it is. I know Joe Thomas did it too. I know Trent Williams is on his own program. Like, there's so many of these other tackles that I know that do it. I'm just like, no, I want
the old guard, man. The old Cliff. You're right, Cliff. Like, if Cliffy practiced like once every month, it was like celebrated. Like it was just how it was, like, but that ensured that he was out there on Sundays. That's what's important, and clearly that's
sorry about that.
That's the other thing though, is like when you were out there last year, it was so clear that you were the same dude. Like lockdown, like the Von Miller game is like my favorite because it's, there's the quote where Miller's like, well, why are you running so much? It's like, yeah, because every time we go back to pass, you've got nothing. So you've got to throw the focus on the fact that there were running plays, because every time there was a passing play, he didn't sniff the quarterback. And that's because of you. You know what I mean? So it's so obvious that when you're on the field, you're you.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel good. I thank you. I don't know what else to talk about that. It's kind of awkward getting compliments like that, but
it's true though. Come on, you know this. I know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Hey Dave. Okay, I know your time is limited. So I don't want to waste it. Can you take like a question or two from Packers fans around the world, because there are people lined up to ask you stuff. So I just want to.
I got plenty of time. I'm not doing much. So come on, bring it at me.
All right, Nicole, who we got here?
Don't be easy. Make it really tough.
Oh, look at you. Okay, I do have one in the chat though. First up, I got a very important question from Brian. Bakhtiari, how many Kroll's burgers can you eat? That's a tough one. That's a tough one right there.
I'm gonna be honest. I maybe have had one, and since I've been here, I don't even know. Is that the thing right next to Logical?
Dave, yes, Kroll's. Like Dave. Okay, when I'm there for camp,
I've been there.
We're gonna do a podcast at Corey's house, and I'm gonna take you to Kroll's, and we're gonna do it right, because that's not even right. That's just...
Hey, the beautiful thing about my new training schedule is we'll have plenty of time. I'll come over to the house during training camp. It's great.
I love it. All right, Michael. I think Michael has a question for you. Michael, what's going on, man? Make sure you unmute yourself.
I just unmuted it. Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my question.
Hey, Mike. No problem.
Couple of things, and I know in my first one I was asking a lot of football questions and such and everything. However, you've been one of my favorite players. I obviously, it does kind of break my heart seeing AR-12, as a Jet now. However, the couple of questions one question and one comment. First, the comment is all of your great, unbelievable plays that you have made. One of my favorite was that you at the Milwaukee Bucks game, chugging the beers, which I thought was freaking unbelievable. And number two, with what I do as a profession, I think that I could be the perfect person to take over the golf cart to drive and give it some real serious, some really, really serious drives with what you're doing. What do you think about that?
Well, I have a lot to think. One, I appreciate you appreciating my beer chugging. I feel like there's three things people know me for. I'm the guy in Pitch Perfect, I'm the beer chugging guy, and then I'm the Packer football player. So I'll take it. I mean, hey, that's cool. That number two is I got unfortunate, I guess, breaking news that Aaron is taking the golf cart in the divorce. So
no!
Be riding in it. But I think I'm going to work on something. Hopefully we get alignment early, because the more money, the better. I think I see a golf cart in my future. Still bringing on a little new tradition that we can leave. Maybe call it an
You got used to it, yeah.
So,
yeah,
it was nice.
You got to go back to the bikes, dude. Come on now. Come on.
That was a pretty amazing golf cart. I'm not gonna lie. That was a pretty amazing golf cart that you got for him. So kudos to you, sir.
I appreciate that. It definitely took a while customizing that thing. We definitely took it out to a couple other spots to get the whole custom made thing from the leather and all that. So I thank you for the appreciation to the little details.
And I live in Florida, but I have been very, very fortunate to get up to Lambeau about 6 times for some to come to a game. So one of my one thing on my bucket list would be actually being able to chug a beer with Mr. David Bakhtiari.
All right, well, I mean, if I'm chugging and you haven't be around, maybe we can make that happen. I'm not going to say for sure, but maybe.
Thank you very much, sir.
I love it.
Yep.
We got one more for you, Dave. We got Ramsey's had his hand up, and he is itching. So what's up, buddy? What do you got for Dave?
Dave, just wanted to say, love your game, loved your friendship with Rogers. I guess a compliment and a question would be that not only are you amazing in a golf cart, but the question would be, did LaFleur ever like stop you guys? Like, you going too fast? Did he write a ticket? Like, cut it out? This is getting ridiculous.
No.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, no. It was.
Have the Green Bay Police ever asked you to slow it down or said anything? Because you guys do tear across that street pretty damn quick.
That they did. They tried to say that it wasn't street legal, which could be contested, but we respected what the police wanted to do, which I guess if you're going to nitpick and feel like a golf cart is a menace to society with all the other things going on Green Bay on the importance level,
Right.
we would go on the pedestrian walk and we'd be on the sidewalks. We did that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, when absolutely no one was around, I'm not gonna lie, we totally went on the street. Like, it's not. I put blinkers on it and everything. Like, we were good.
I actually no, I did. My real question was, congrats on being a dad. Did you feel the new dad strength? That was I got so shocked that it was actually my turn. I forgot what I was going to tell you, but congrats on being a dad. How did that affect you, just professionally and personally, if I may ask that?
Greatest feeling I've had in my life, besides being married. It's amazing. Like, I miss her so much, and I'm so excited to see her. And dad strength wise, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty strong now, and it's like a totally different type of strength, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, like, because my, in the bassinet, when you're changing the diapers all the time, when I first was doing it, like, my back would hate me, and I'm like, man, I'm about to throw this thing out any second. And now my back, back, one of my strengths, I'm like, I can never throw this thing out. And I have all the endurance to bend over all day and do all the diaper changes or anything. Like, it actually worked out in my favor. I know certain guys that are like, it actually ruined their back. Because I was doing it so much, it actually kind of strengthened those little muscles that were complaining in my back. So I'm like, that kind of actually worked, because I had to do it no matter what.
Well, congrats. But I appreciate the floor. I'm a new dad myself, so I just wanted to get a feel from an
Hey, congratulations, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, have fun with
Congrats,
it.
man.
Cherish every moment.
That's dope.
It's all joy, no fun.
Yeah, until they're like 22 and asking you for their credit card. It's great. Like, you guys, you got new kids. Like, well, let me tell you, like, when they're 22, 18, and 15, it's a whole new world. It's a whole different thing.
It goes by, doesn't it?
It goes by real quick. Dave, I got one last question for you from Big B. Another close personal friend of Aaron's, I believe. Big B, what's going on, man?
Well, first, I just want to say your baby's absolutely adorable. And my question is, you've been the old guy in the offensive line room for a while, but now that Rodgers is gone, you're officially the longest tenured Packer on the team. So how does that feel, being the oldest guy in Lambeau?
About damn time we kicked that old dusty man to the curb. I can stand in my throne. Like I said, it's wild. Would not have thought that back in 2013 when I was drafted, that I would be the oldest player on the Packers. Definitely wouldn't have called that. But I'm honored, and I am very appreciative of it. And I think it kind of speaks to, the relationship the franchise and I have. It's been awesome because, obviously I had Ted, and he's the one who kind of drafted me and had faith in me and re-signed me. And then obviously the transition with Goody, and then having that faith and trust on that end, and then staying on now, and then kind of, grooming and bringing on his young picked players throughout this last few years. So it's been awesome, and I've definitely like I don't want to take Aaron's words, but like I've definitely felt a lot of gratitude as of late because, like I've said before, like I'm definitely closer to the end than I am to the beginning here, and it's awesome. So I'm really soaking in every moment in the city, going into the facility every day and just being in the position that I am, because one day it will be gone, and I'm not going to be on, the Zoom call for the draft anymore. That's just the reality of it.
Oh, you're going to be every year, Dave, every year.
Yeah, maybe as a fan one day.
There you go. Big B, thanks. Dave, I can't thank you enough for the time, man. I look, you don't have to do this, and you do it.
I told you I would.
You did. Well, you did, and I really appreciate it. You didn't last year. You're here this year, and I understand you're in a very different spot career-wise and everything, your kind of outlook, and I really appreciate it, man. And look, I do want to say, and this is no shit, like you did, and I made a joke about it when you first came on, but like your stuff with Bussin' with the Boys was so awesome. Like it's legit you hanging out and just chatting with your guys, right? And predictably, people freak out on the internet. And this is what I always say. It's like we always want athletes to be themselves. We want them to say what they're thinking. And then when they do that, fans fucking freak out, or the internet especially freaks out. And it's like, I just appreciate that you've arrived at a point where you're like seasoned enough or comfortable enough or confident enough to say whatever the fuck it is you're thinking about.
Secured enough too.
Well, that helps as well. That helps
that definitely helps you kind of like see more the player.
But that's my point. But even then, right? Like you could easily say, "Oh, I don't want to say anything because maybe talking financially, endorsements or like contracts or whatever." Like but you very, very, very obviously were yourself in an interview, regardless of the fact that it made waves. But I think you knew it would, and I appreciate it. And I just want you to know I've heard from a lot of people who appreciate it. So kudos to you, man.
No, that means a lot. And I will say to the people that are here, Aaron knows what he's talking about. Aaron's got a good beat. I said this to you in private, and I will say it public. He knows. I would say you're probably one of the most fair and on point, opinionated people that Packer Nation can follow, because I think you usually hit it almost on the head. I'm not going to, not all the time. Opinions can definitely be wrong, but
always right.
You do a really good job, and it's very fair. And that's something like I've always been like. I've always said, and like I live by the idea of I'd rather take a harsh truth than an easy lie. Like I'd rather hear the truth, even if it sucks, than to have someone make me feel good and just lie to me. So, and then the last thing with the whole Bussin' stuff, I'm just surprised that people thought I'm that conniving, like in that like methodical, like Aaron, where I can pinpoint a word.
Dude,
I'm like,
dude.
And then that's when you had said it, and I got tagged in something that you had posted about, like,
right.
He's being rational, taking himself out of the perspective, saying like they is the front office. I'm like, thank you. And I'm like, the whole point, I'm like, the fact that he had to go on Mike Silver and even like reestablish my position, I'm like, well, I'm not going to back down, but I'm like, God, everyone's got to just relax. Aaron said it before. Take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. Everything I said is honestly the truth, and there's nothing crazy like about it. And if I told you, if I don't want to,
no, that was the other thing. That's the shit that drove me nuts. It's like, what did he say?
Wild. It's wild, but it is fun. So it's all like, I think that's why I also, as much as I hate social media, I absolutely love it, because it's funny. It's funny just seeing like people chasing like they're just chasing smoke, which is I think it's funny.
That's the most of it, definitely. Dave, you're an absolute legend. I can't thank you enough for showing up tonight. Really appreciate it. And hey, you're out tomorrow to wherever, so enjoy and have some great family time. And I'll see you at camp, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'll see you at Corey's house. I appreciate y'all. Take it easy.
Thanks, brother.